So this weekend is going to be a supplement store meetup. Or not really meetup, more like a, what do they call it, meet and greet? Either way, so I'm going to be in like, is it Philadelphia? It's Philadelphia. I can't remember. But that means I'm not going to be recording my lifts over the weekend. We'll be doing them with Fuad and Ben. So I know you hate it, but it's going to have to be 2 cardio and calves videos spliced in between. Just deal with it. Either way, you need the reminder to do your cardio. And, well, you probably need the reminder to do your calves, too. So, if anything, I call this a win-win. But basic plan, at least for me now, is 30 minutes on the seated bike, followed by maybe 8 or so sets of calves. Yeah, pretty heavy. Just enough to know I did a good amount of work, and they're pumped. Right? Really just hit calves. So usually I would definitely, usually I do sort of advocate against doing cardio before any kind of lifts, at least in terms of like immediately before. I would not want to do 30 minutes on the seated bike and then jump straight into my leg workout. That's just a total waste of energy. Because you got to remember, you're not just working hard and pushing yourself hard in a workout, at least a weight workout. You're literally burning energy, and you only got so much. So if you spend 30 minutes doing cardio before your workout, then you're just pre-exhausting your body. And then when you actually go for your hard, intense working sets, you don't have as much energy to work with. So that's why I always say cardio right before the lift, like as a warm-up in a way, not your best case scenario. Even if it does feel good and you've done it for a while, I really think you're going to have better lifts, maybe skipping that part. So, given that, when should you do your cardio? My approach that I've always stuck to is at least probably about 5 hours before the actual workout, if I had to sort of specify it like that. Just because that's definitely enough time for me to gather myself. I'm not actually any more tired than from the cardio workout itself. The last thing I want to do is go into my actual weight training session and have my energy levels be compromised. So I say morning cardio is the best time. Wake up 30 minutes either at the gym, or not a bad idea to maybe get a cardio machine for your house. I've got a seated bike on the side of my kitchen. Works perfect. And I could just go in there, but I kind of wanted to go to the actual gym today. So that's the plan for me now. But, do I really have to say it? I guess I will, just for the sake of getting into it. But what's the point of doing cardio? And I get this comment still, even though I've said this a billion times. Why would you do cardio on a bulk? You're burning calories. You're not going to gain as much weight. Which I like it. I like the logic, because it's like, oh, you're burning extra calories, which you should be eating to put on more weight under your frame. It makes sense. You're not coming from nowhere, but you're missing the bigger picture. Cardio is not just a one and done, and it doesn't affect you in any other facet of your fucking life. You're going to have a higher metabolism, because in the day you will have burned more calories, an extra. I always wait for the machine to say at least like 300. Sometimes I'll do 400 if I'm feeling a little bit extra amped in the morning. But that's an extra what? Probably, let's say, 350 calories per day. Your metabolism is going to be higher. You're going to be more prone to put on less body fat, just because you're going to be a more athletic machine. And then in your actual workouts, you're not going to be so fatigued in between sets, because your cardiovascular system is a bit more trained. And I'm not sitting here doing sprints and running laps on a track. I think if I really try to get into that, I'd have a much better cardiovascular system. But just 30 minutes moderate intensity on the bike, that is definitely enough for me. It's not like I need to run fucking sprints. But look, we all know it. If anything, I say cardio fits into the realm of things where you just know it's good for you, and the only reason you're not doing it is because you're lazy, right? It's like when your parents tell you to take your Flintstones and to do your fucking homework and go to bed on time. It's like, you know, it's good. It's gonna benefit you. You're gonna feel better from doing it, but it just requires a small upfront cost. So take that with what you will. Maybe if you're a consistent cardio doer, then you can feel a little bit superior knowing that 99% of people can't do what you do. So once I pass this crosswalk of about 500 college kids, then we can actually... Oh, this fucking asshole pulled that in front of me. She did not even look at me. But let's get in there. 30 minutes. Obviously, I'm not going to put the camera up and record myself sitting on the bike for 30 minutes. I'm going to be playing on my phone. But once that's done, we can go downstairs to the actual weight floor of the gym and get as crazy of a calf pump as possible before coming back home and probably eating what would conventionally be called maybe a gross... Let's just say lunch. I got a big ass box of ice cream sandwiches, and I don't think that box is gonna last very long in my freezer. If that's any hint for what I'm gonna be eating today. But no matter. Let's just get in there and get freaking started. All right, so do not freak out. I definitely warmed up. I think if I went cold into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 plates on the calf raise, I'd probably rip both Achilles off. But this is honestly 8. Actually, you could probably fit 9 on here. Let's stay away from that. But honestly, I think the basic plan: moderately slow, controlled reps, squeeze hard, go until I can only do a few partials, re-rack it. And as these sets progress, I'll probably have to decrease in weight just because my calves are going to get more and more fatigued. But I think maybe, well, I don't know. We'll just see how many. There's not much to talk about. I think let's just splice through them all and then cut to the calf pump. Really? It's not fun. It hurts. It's weird. Like your shoulders are cool. Like your nose is that. That's one of the ones that yes. One more with 7. At least. Okay, let's drop to 6. Oh. All right, let's drop to 5. Okay, let's do one more with 5, and then sometimes with calves, I do like doing some single-sided stuff, like 1 calf at a time, because not that much, but I do feel like my right one is a little bit stronger, and whenever I do double leg calf raises. I think the right one just takes over a little bit much. So that's kind of a good way to try to help balance any imbalances. If your left calf's a little smaller, maybe hit it just a little bit harder. So if I get 15 reps with 2 plates or with 3 plates with the left side, I'm going to stop on the right side with 15, even though maybe it could get 20 or 25, just so that left calf set is more intense and a little bit more, let's just say, growth inducing. I don't know, maybe 2 or 3. We'll see. But again, weak side first. Oh my gosh. Okay, that's too much. Oh. Okay, next 2 sets, 2 plates only. 3 is pushing it. Okay. One more set after this. Oh, goodness. Okay, I found a relatively secluded part of the gym. So let's just see if you can even see and notice. Well, I guess I didn't do a pre-calf pump, so you can't really feel the difference, but whatever. They still feel pretty fucking pumped, even if you can't really see it. Oh, yeah, that's not nothing. That's a solid piece of meat on the back of each of these things. Oh, goodness. So now the plan is to go home, eat a crap ton of carbs, probably at least 500 grams, a ton of water, and then in like, I can't tell you exactly how long, but when I come back for back and rear delts tonight, I'll be still full of glycogen that I'm going to have to wear a shirt that I don't really like, because just like getting a lat pump will probably rip it out the back. So let's, I'm going to end up loitering around and chatting for a bit, but for you, let's get in the car. Okay, now those sets may not have been so intense as like, my normal sets of squats or incline bench or whatever. And it doesn't mean that they weren't hard, right? With small muscle groups, it's more of like a momentary pain. That's almost the exertion you're fighting against, because it's not like I finished those sets of calves and I had to take 5 minutes and go, it's really just fighting the discomfort in your mind. So I can be a little bit more forgiving when people, skip squats and, well, I guess that's all I'm really trying to say, squats, any really big ass compound movement, because there is a difficulty factor that's much more noticeable than, let's say smaller muscle groups like these. But in that same instance, it makes me want to think, if you're not training your calves hard, then you're kind of just a baby, because you're not able to fight against that mental pain of your calves just being on fire. So take that as a call out if you've been skipping calves for too long. But I'm definitely going to feel these tomorrow. Oh my goodness. What else is there to discuss? Oh, yeah, this is a good one. Let's get into the illusion of size, mainly in, regarding social media, right? People's posts. You got to remember, being diced, diced, pumped, and in really good lighting, frankly, it adds, how many pounds do you think? 20 pounds? 25 pounds? So that's why I think a lot of I don't see it too much now. I think that we've kind of had a little bit of a shift in terms of people really liking the idea of bulking and actually making gains, weight gains primarily. But for a while, everybody was fucking obsessed with being diced. And I guess they probably still are. I must just be reflecting on the small window that I get to see into like all of the fitness arena that gets posted everywhere. But the idea of a beginner dude jumping straight into a big ass calorie deficit, doing a shit ton of cardio and just starving himself to like, see a couple of abs. Not awesome. Not an awesome move, if I do say so myself. Right? You got to remember, if you're so this is me kind of just talking to the early lifter. If you haven't really built up a solid frame, then you've got basically 3 initial moves to sort of stick to and follow. 3 routines: bulk, cut, main gain. Now, the beginner does not need to fucking cut. Unless you're really on the higher end of the body fat spectrum, where your, let's just call it body or your physique transformation is mainly fat loss driven in the beginning, then that's its own situation. That's where a calorie deficit would serve you good for sure. But maybe just more of a 20% body fat range lifter, you got to be in that main gain section. Honestly, I don't think you'd really benefit from a huge bulk. Just getting into the gym and eating your protein for like 3 months as a beginner, that will drastically change the way you look. So don't get too hyped up to like see your first ab vein if you still haven't benched 225. And that's not a rip. I'm just kind of saying what I'm saying. But I think that's all I got to say there. So calves, how frequently should you be hitting them? That's funny. I love seeing people I know out on the sidewalk. But what the hell was I about to say? Whatever. Totally new tangent. Post-workout meal. I'll probably do 2 packs of ramen, a ribeye, and maybe some Gatorade or something. Calories in, calories out for sure. You tell me, man. Give me a topic. I am drawing a blank. I'm just bringing up all sorts of random pieces of intel. How about we get back into a cardio rant? I know you hate it, but I'm going to have to do it. Is it really that hard? Come on. Is it really that hard? For real. I'm not saying that you have to jump straight into daily cardio every morning and it's more often that you do it than you don't. That's not what I'm saying. But to kind of take the first step to get into it and actually start doing it at least on a consistent basis. I mean, look, I challenge you to make a trip to the gym some morning this week, do 30 minutes of cardio, then leave, and then do your lift later in the evening. And just tell me how you feel. Just tell me how you feel about it. That's going to be my challenge for the week. How about that? But I'm telling you, it's the same thing with everything. Once you start tracking your macros, once you start sort of making progressive overload gains, you're getting heavier, you're starting to see that your pumps are getting better, you'll kind of sort of come to an understanding where you realize, okay, the more effort that I put into this, the more work and the more consistently I am with it, then the better results I'm going to get. Which is not groundbreaking information. Everyone knows this. The more you fucking practice something, the more proficient you're going to be at it. But it does take an initial down payment of doing it before you really see the results, which I find is very off-putting to people. It's an unfortunate state of affairs. But what are you gonna do? So plan before I actually go back home and just eat a ton of food and chill. And you guys are right. When I comment about needing a new show to watch, and you guys comment about Ippo, right, the boxing show, guess what, man? I've seen it. I haven't seen all of it. I'm on like episode 50 something, but I kind of put it back on the shelf for a little bit. Maybe I gotta get back into it. It's that stuff's kind of cool. Watching like fighting anime and like really hyperbolized shows where it's getting into like your fucking, digging deep past your limits. Like that stuff is sick. Even if it's kind of childish in a way, it's some pretty cool motivation. Because you got to think that shit is based on life. The whole point of fiction, the whole point of like a Marvel superhero or whoever else is it's like an idealized and hyperbolized state of, the affairs that people deal with on a day-to-day basis. So if you can get motivated by that, then I think it would kind of help separate you from the rest of what I'd kind of just call the normal crowd, you know. So this is getting into a real ass ramble. So home, laundry, food, food, food again, and then a back day. I am really excited to have somebody help me do some assisted pullovers. The seated pullover machine, if you can find one which you like, sometimes they're a little bit iffy and I can't really get an awesome squeeze. Either the machine is made for someone a little bit shorter than me, or like the arm is just a little too far, or something about the weight or the strength curve, it just doesn't really match with my build. Then, you shit out of luck. But when you can find one that you like, and you can do, 10 full reps, maybe 2 or 3 reps that are just above that bottom portion where you can't really touch your hips anymore, and then have somebody help you with like another 10 assisted reps where, you pull down, you can only get to here, and then they help you squeeze it all the way back down to the bottom. That is a game changer. I love straight sets. Training solo, I definitely don't mind it. If you look back at these videos, what do we have, like 300, almost 350 lifts, and they're all pretty much solo. So, not that I think you need a whole crew of dudes around you to have a good workout, but assisted reps, that is fucking sick. Plus, sometimes you need a spot so you don't fucking, off yourself with 3 plates to the neck, or a crushed spine on squats. So train hard and train safe. I think that's going to be my final note. So I will see you, well, I'll see you later today, because tomorrow's video is recorded later today, but you'll see me tomorrow. So I will catch you then.